Some video game locations are so creepy that players remember them years after they stop playing. And honestly, some of these places are more terrifying than actual horror movies because you have to experience them yourself. Today we're looking at 10 of the creepiest places in gaming history. Some are abandoned cities, some are underground nightmare fuel, and some become terrifying simply because of the atmosphere developers created around them. Ravenholm from Half-Life 2 is still one of the greatest horror levels ever created. The town is filled with zombies, traps, darkness, and terrifying sounds echoing through empty streets. What makes Ravenholm so disturbing is the atmosphere. The entire place feels hopeless and abandoned. Players constantly hear screams, metal scraping, and enemies hiding nearby. And because Half-Life 2 wasn't originally a horror game, entering Ravenholm feels even more unexpected and unsettling. Silent Hill became legendary because of how oppressive the town feels. The fog hides everything around the player while strange creatures wander through empty streets and abandoned buildings. The sound design is a huge reason why Silent Hill feels terrifying. Static noises, distant screams, and industrial sounds constantly make players uncomfortable. Even today, the town itself feels cursed in a way most horror games still struggle to recreate. Subnautica becomes terrifying the moment players leave safe waters and descend into the deep ocean. The deeper players travel, the darker and quieter the environment becomes. Massive creatures suddenly appear out of nowhere while visibility becomes extremely limited. What makes Subnautica so effective is that the game creates fear naturally. The ocean itself becomes the horror because players never fully know what exists below them. Resident Evil 7 completely changed the series by focusing on atmosphere and realism. And the Baker house is one of the biggest reasons why. The house feels disgusting and claustrophobic. Every hallway looks dirty, abandoned, and dangerous. Players never feel safe because enemies can suddenly appear at any moment. The realism of the environment makes everything feel disturbingly believable. The Ishimura from Dead Space feels like a giant, haunted spaceship drifting through space. The ship is filled with darkness, flickering lights, blood-covered hallways, and horrifying creatures hiding inside vents. Dead Space constantly creates tension because players are never sure where enemies will appear from next. Even simple elevator rides become stressful because the game trains players to expect danger constantly. The caves in the forest are horrifying because they feel realistic and claustrophobic. Players enter dark underground tunnels with limited visibility while hearing disturbing noises echo through the caves. The deeper players go, the more disturbing the environment becomes. Strange mutant creatures appear without warning, making exploration feel genuinely stressful. And because players can get lost underground, panic becomes part of the experience. Outlast proves that horror becomes much scarier when players can't fight back. The asylum is filled with violent patients, dark hallways, and terrifying chase sequences that constantly force players to run and hide. Using the night vision camera makes everything even more disturbing because players can barely see what's around them. The game constantly creates helplessness, which makes every encounter feel dangerous. Minecraft usually feels relaxing, but the deep dark biome completely changes the atmosphere. The biome is almost silent except for strange sounds echoing through the darkness while the warden hunts players using sound instead of sight. What makes the deep dark creepy is how different it feels from normal Minecraft gameplay. Suddenly, players must move carefully and avoid making noise. Even experienced players become nervous while exploring these areas. PT somehow turned a tiny repeating hallway into one of the scariest experiences in gaming history. The game constantly changes small details inside the hallway, creating paranoia and tension without relying heavily on jump scares. Players slowly realize something is terribly wrong while strange sounds and disturbing events become more intense over time. Even though PT was only a demo, it permanently influenced modern horror games. Vault 22 from Fallout New Vegas looks abandoned at first, but players quickly realize something horrible happened inside. The vault is overgrown with strange plant life while dangerous creatures hide in dark corners waiting to attack. The combination of silence, darkness, and environmental storytelling makes the vault feel deeply unsettling. Players slowly uncover what happened through terminals and exploration, which makes the location even more disturbing. The best horror locations aren't always filled with monsters or jump scares. Sometimes atmosphere alone is enough to make players uncomfortable for years afterward. If there's a creepy gaming location that still sticks with you, comment it below. and subscribe for more gaming content like this.